In the last couple of weeks, various websites have announced that the Nikon P1000 is set to be discontinued. What does this mean if you still haven't bought one? What does this mean for the future of ultrazoom cameras in general? Well, let's have a look. On February 29th, the website Nikon Rumors reported that many of Japan's largest electronic outlets had started to report that the Nikon P1000 was now discontinued or no longer in production. At the time of filming, many of the international websites that I like to look at are also reflecting the same thing. It's either showing out of stock or hard to find. All of this leading me to think that the Nikon P1000 is probably now on the endangered species list. So naturally, I want to get a little bit more information. So I reached out to Nikon in various places and got exactly one email back from their Asian office, which politely said, no comment. Now, honestly, this is actually a step in the right direction from Nikon. Usually, they don't reply to me at all, so this was a nice change of pace. However, I think if you are still selling something, you're not gonna go out of your way to no comment that you're still selling it. So, is saying nothing as good as saying, yeah, we've discontinued? Quite possibly. The P1000 debuted in 2018 as a natural successor to the Nikon P900. The Nikon P1000 had 4K, it had RAW, it was just better in general, and it also featured a little bit more zoom. Despite a slightly lukewarm reception at the time, it found a cult following amongst birders and wildlife photographers, plane spotters, and those guys. Yeah, those guys. Even with the release of the smaller form factor Nikon P950, which was essentially same, there was still a want in the market for the Nikon P1000. There was a period between 2021 and 2022, maybe a year and a half long, where you could not find this camera on the market. It was completely sold out. Now, Nikon could be retiring this camera for a number of reasons. Their business model has shifted largely towards more expensive cameras with multiple lenses. The market has been eroded by mobile phones very quickly. So even with the P1000 still holding the record for the longest focal zoom on a bridge camera, there is money to be made elsewhere and probably easier for Nikon. Even just over the last couple of weeks, Nikon has just bought Red. Now, Red make very high-end cinema quality cameras. This all points back to the fact that Nikon has shifted their business towards the higher end of cameras. The other thing to remember here is that Nikon essentially competes against itself in this market. In the 6 years since the P1000 came out, there hasn't really been anyone else outside of the P950 to compete against them. This is still a very strange situation to be in. Most technology eventually finds itself relegated to the sidelines as newer and more impressive technology comes. But there isn't anything. Nikon still has the longest range bridge camera in the market, even after 6 years. So this is a little weird. Not only is it strange for a company to not be on the wrong side of innovation and not have competition, it's also odd to retire a product without releasing a more improved version of the exact same product. This would have been like Apple coming out with the original iPhone and just being like, no, we're good. This is all we're gonna make now. Okay, goodbye. Now, honestly, this could just be a reflection of the fact that Nikon is so focused on their higher end cameras now. We may need to wait until the Nikon P950 gets retired before we see any movement in this market whatsoever. Even then, it may not be Nikon that comes through, it might be a competitor. And competition creates innovation, and that's a good thing. So, Canon, Sony, anybody, please, ultrazoom lens, please. But what does this mean for you, the consumer? What does it mean if you still have the Nikon P1000 sitting on your wish list? Well, now might be the time to go and buy one, because there's a good chance the next time you want one, you're gonna be playing Where's Waldo at your local secondhand electronics store just to get one that hopefully works. How do you feel about the Nikon P1000 being retired with no obvious successor on the horizon? Or do you hope that Nikon might surprise us with something new in the near future. Otherwise, the Nikon P1000 is set to become the unicorn of cameras, maybe a little bit literally, because the horn and the you get what I'm trying to, yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think about this whole situation. Will you be rushing out to buy a P1000, or do you think there still might be a chance they will come back with something new? Hey, before you leave, I am reviving my other channel over here, or here, depending where I put the box. And I would super appreciate if you were to pop over and hit that subscribe button. If you're looking for super zoom videos, I got hundreds here from all over the world. So please peruse at your own leisure. Have an amazing day, and thank you for watching. Ka kite anō.